We just took delivery of a crate full of parts from a customer. So in this video, we're kicking off a new project build. We're going to start figuring out how to turn a 1980 Kawasaki KZ750 into a custom Scrambler. We're going to get this thing unboxed and see what we're working with. We got the KZ750 unboxed. Took about a half hour. Everything went really well. Let's take a look at what we got. So everything looks to be in pretty decent shape. We've got the frame there. As I mentioned already, the owner had started on this project, so they already had a hoop for this frame. That's not welded on yet. I'm not sure what we'll do with it, if we're gonna go with it as is, but the frame looks to be in pretty good shape. We've got the nice, this is a KZ750 Limited, the LTD version, which came with these mag wheels, which I always thought were kind of cool looking. I actually picked up a set of these wheels and fork from a KZ750 myself, thinking I might use these for a build coming up one of these days, mostly because I like the wheels. So very cool. Got a dual disc front and a single disc rear on these. We've got the swing arm there. The engine has been gone through by the customer already. I'll probably do a quick once over as well, just make sure everything's good to go, but it has been at least cleaned and painted. I'm not sure what that was painted with, but it doesn't look to be in too bad a shape. A couple of nice surprises too. We've got some fresh exhaust, 4-into-1 exhaust, and the chrome muffler there. Most of the engine covers here look like they've already been media blasted, so they don't look too bad. And a lot of the small parts sorted into bins here. I've never built a KZ750, so I won't be familiar with a lot of that stuff, but things seem to be sorted out okay. Hopefully there aren't too many missing pieces. It looks like most of what we need is there. We've already got a new master cylinder and rear shocks. Got a full wire harness. I often end up rebuilding these wire harnesses anyway. And then we've got the original tank, an LTD tank. This used to be Dave's tank, apparently. It's not in great shape. We got a couple of big dents here. There's a big dent on this side too. And honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the shape of these tanks, but we'll figure that out with the customer, get this set on there, see what we think, if we want to try to make this work or find another tank. And the original forks obviously need to be cleaned and rebuilt. These look to be in pretty decent shape though. Fork legs are nice and clean. I don't see any rust or pitting. So, and these are actually the air adjustable forks, which is kind of cool. More miscellaneous small parts. Got the master cylinder for the rear brake. I've actually got a center stand here, which is nice. I'm a fan of the center stand. I think the next steps for us are do a little bit better inventory on what we've got. We'll get this all set up on the stand and mocked up, take a few measurements and go from there. Okay, so we've got the KZ750 loosely together on the stand here, so we can go ahead and start mocking it up. This is going to be an urban scrambler type build, so the KZ750 LTD is a little bit of an odd choice, just because of the shape and the lines of the bike. You can see it's got a relatively long fork, because this is sort of a cruiser style bike. It's got a relatively low seat height, and then the 16-inch rear wheel doesn't give us a lot of great choices for dual sport tire options. The other thing about the KZ750 LTD is it being a little bit more of a cruiser style bike, it doesn't have any sort of belt line to speak of. So we can see the tank really slopes towards the back of the bike. The interaction between the subframe and the back of the tank here is a little disconnected and a little bit loose, so we'll have to figure out how to remedy that. But overall, it looks pretty good. I think the next steps for us are going to be to get some measurements, really figure out where we can go with this suspension. It would be nice to use a little bit longer shock here to give us a little bit more travel and maybe a little bit more height out of the rear. The other thing I think that we're going to do is possibly scrap this subframe altogether and fabricate something new that does give us a little bit more of a belt line here and a little bit more of a cohesive look. So the thing that we want to be a little bit cautious of is we don't want to alter the suspension geometry too much, or at least everything is sort of a trade-off, so we just want to be careful and thoughtful about how we do that so we get the results we're looking for. So anyway, this bike is a little bit different for us. This will be the first Kawasaki build that we've done, so kind of an exciting challenge, and being this LTD model, there are going to be a lot of things we'll have to think through and figure out. So stay tuned. We've got a lot of work to do on this, and if you like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe and like.